From the age of 8, Francisco was the most famous chiropractor in all of Tijuana, Mexico. He first started working on animals, and residents would bring their dogs and cats with dislocated arms, shoulders, and legs for Francisco to fix. It was like his hands were made of gold. Within 30 seconds to a minute, any animal would be cured of pure pain. Francisco became so famous that his family decided to move him to Los Angeles, California for a better life. Within 10 years, he became the youngest and most famous chiropractor in all of California. But one day, when he was trying to fix the dislocated shoulder of an old lady, a freak accident happened and Francisco was fired, leading to Francisco being banned from working as a chiropractor ever again. So please stay tuned for this shocking story. When Francisco was 8 years old, he lived in the city of Tijuana, Mexico. All he had was his loving parents and his white husky, Zolo. He was the best kid in a neighborhood of crime and corruption. And no matter how dangerous the city was and how often his mother would warn him, "Francisco, don't go out at night," he would still go for a walk with his dog Zolo every night. But then one day on Francisco's birthday, tragedy turned into an enlightening experience. Francisco's mom and dad gave him $11 in cash. They knew for months he had dreamed of buying a soccer ball. So Francisco puts on his shoes, grabs his dog Zolo's leash, and with his chest out and his eyes glowing with excitement, he walks on over to the soccer store, purchasing a yellow and shiny soccer ball. Francisco was so happy, skipping back home with his dog and a smile as big as the moon. But then, pure chaos. Before Francisco could even turn around, he saw 4 huge pit bulls looking him straight in the eyes, with teeth as sharp as knives and saliva drooling out of each and every dog's mouth. Francisco could tell the dogs were hungry and looking for a meal. The dogs had bit on their cage so much that eventually the lock had snapped. Francisco and Zolo ran for their lives, first going through an alley, jumping 1 fence, then 2 fences, until eventually the 3rd fence that they both jumped, Zolo had landed badly on his front arm and dislocated his shoulder. "No, my dog! No! Zolo!" Francisco cried to the top of his lungs and yelled for help. "Help me!" But no one was around. He waited and waited for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, even 5 minutes, but not a single person in sight. When he looked Zolo in his eyes, he could see the suffering and the tears coming out of his eyes. He told himself, either I help him or that's it. My dog's gonna be a goner. He grabs his shoulder and his arm and was as nervous as a 6-year-old kid, and was so nervous he started sweating. Moving his arm up and down, miraculously, in about 5 to 6 seconds, Zolo's arm popped back in. And just like that, a light bulb went off inside of his head. Is this my purpose in life? Is this what I'm meant to do for the rest of my life? Francisco, all of a sudden, felt a warm rush from his chest all the way to his legs. And within 3 months, word spread to all the different nearby towns. There's a little boy in Tijuana called the Baby Chiropractor, and everyone started to bring their pets into Francisco's home. They begged him, please help our dog. Please help our cat. Please help my parrot. Please help my iguana. He has a dislocated back. Within 6 months, Francisco became so famous that adults in the neighborhood stopped going to chiropractic centers and instead came to the home of an 8-year-old boy. 2 years later, at 10 years old, Francisco became a prodigy. His name was published in each and every newspaper as the 10-year-old kid that can fix any shoulder, elbow, ankle, any back pain that anyone has. Whoever he would touch would instantly get cured. But then, Tijuana became too dangerous. The rival cartel gangs started to compete with each other, and day after day, kids and adults would disappear, leading to families crying for help. The city slowly became the most dangerous place in all of Mexico. And that's when Francisco's mom and dad had a meeting with him. We need to leave the town. It is dangerous. It is not a good place to raise your kids. And we fear for your life. So his father goes to the local church, starts praying, and the next day, Francisco, his mom and dad, and Zolo moved to Los Angeles. Francisco studied hard. He mentored many chiropractors, and at age 21, he became the youngest chiropractor in all of California. It was his dream, his passion. He would work 12 hours a day, caring for his patients, and every night, next to his bed, he would pray to the man in the sky. Help me save as many people as I can and make this dream in my heart, this burning desire, come true. You would think that his prayer would instantly come true, but the opposite happened, and Francisco was hit with a disaster. One morning, an old lady walked into his clinic. She had a big nose with a huge mole right at the tip of it, dark black eyes, and was wearing a huge loose black coat. I need help. I need somebody help me. From the moment she walked in, Francisco got a bad feeling. Anyways, he tried to fix her back pain, putting his hand on his shoulder and slowly moving her hand up and down. Ouch! She yelled at the top of her lungs. You idiot! Francisco was in shock. He walked back 3 steps. What happened? Are you okay? Are you okay, lady? What did I do? The lady slapped his hand, looked him straight in the eye with an evil look, and yelled right at him. You inexperienced nobody. This is the last time I come in here. Francisco didn't think much of it. Probably just a crazy old lady who's having a bad day. But within a month, a letter arrived in the mail at her clinic, and Francisco's boss called him into his office. The board of chiropractors is suing our office for $20,000 and maybe even more to damages in her back. His boss then got up and grabbed him by the shirt. I'm gonna lose everything. If we're sued, we gotta close down. What did you do? Boss, I didn't do anything. I was just trying to help her and adjust her back. Get the heck out of my office. You're fired. He slammed the door, and Francisco fell to his knees, crying with so many tears he could fill a small pool. His heart was broken, and his dream job, everything he had dreamed of, had been taken away from him in seconds. And worse than anything else, the man in the sky had completely ignored his prayer. The letter even said, for 1 year, you're not allowed to work. Francisco went home and told his parents the devastating news. His dad was furious. I'm old. I cannot work. We need money. How am I going to pay the bills and the grocery? I'm old. I cannot work. We need the money! Even his mom cried, fearing the future of her son's life. At that point, Zola walked into the room, and all Francisco could do was put his head down and jump into bed with his dog. Both cried for hours. A week later, Francisco was forced to go work at the grocery store. Every night, he would pray and look to the man in the sky. Why did this happen to me? What did I do? I thought you reward the good kids in life, the good people in life. Why would a catastrophe like this happen to me? But he was completely ignored, and ignored for 12 straight months, until one day, something incredible happened. After his shift, Francisco was walking to his car and spotted a man with a grocery cart. The man was handsome, wearing a business suit and as confident as the sun. There was something about this man, but 3 seconds later, as the man was pushing his cart, he had tripped and fell to the floor. Ah! He rolled back and forth in pain, and when Francisco looked at him, it was obvious his shoulder had been dislocated. Somebody help me! Somebody help me! The pain! The pain! Francisco ran, and his heart was beating at 500 miles per hour. Sir, don't worry. I used to be a chiropractor. Just calm down. I'm gonna help you. He sat him up straight, put his hand on his shoulder, and lifted the man's arm. Within 6 seconds, his shoulder was put back into place. Oh my God, you saved me. Young man, you saved me. You don't know how much pain I was in. You gotta let me make this up to you. Let's go to my office and let me buy you lunch. Francisco simply said okay and got into the man's luxury car and drove 10 miles down the road to the man's office in a luxury skyrise. The man had ordered pizza to his office and told Francisco to sit down. Tell me your story, kid. I owe you my life. You have no idea how much pain I was in. And that's when Francisco told the man everything, from his childhood in Mexico to his journey to America and the horrific incident that caused him to lose his job. And something inside the businessman's heart just started to beat like a hot boombox. The man felt Francisco's pain. You know, I'm the owner of one of the most famous basketball teams in all of California. I can get you a job starting tomorrow. Why don't you come and be an assistant chiropractor and work on the basketball players? Francisco was shocked and his eyes lit up. Sure. Thank you, sir. And just like that, Francisco worked day in and day out with the professional basketball players, the main team, and even the reserve team. He worked his way up in the ranks, and by age 45, when the main chiropractor had retired, Francisco had taken his position, signing a contract for $750,000 each and every year with the boss of the basketball team. At 45 years of age, Francisco learned that the man in the sky has a plan for everyone, and no prayer ever goes unanswered. He thought his life was over when the evil old lady sued him, but rather it was all part of the plan to make him the most famous chiropractor in all of California and simply make his dream come true. Please comment below on what you think about this story, what you think about Francisco's journey, and if you want to hear more stories just like this, click on the videos right above the screen.